We're going to start with Veronique, and I'm not going to say any more. I'm going to let you guys do the talking. So, Veronique.
Hi, so good to see you, Larry, and all our friends here. It's really been a privilege to meet Larry and work with Larry. I could speak hours about his work and how important he has been in my healing, and most of all, just being part of my life. Most of you are going through maybe challenging times like I did, but what was amazing about his work was that once I was working with him, there was no fear, there was nothing, and he would bring me to this healing place where I felt good, my symptoms went away. I went through chemo and it was horrible. I felt like I was burning alive. And after every session of Larry's work, I felt so much better. And the times where I was in big crisis, he would work with me over and over in a day until I got better. He would not give up on me, ever, ever. He's been incredible, just carrying me through this whole disease. So I had a breast cancer. And I was recommended to go through, they wanted me to do 6 months of a very heavy chemo. So first the surgery, then chemo, and then radiation. I didn't do the chemo. I just did one time half of the amount, and then the other time even smaller amount. So it's been almost 4 years. So far, so good. You know, once you've gone through cancer, life is never the same again. We're, for some reason, more aware of our fragility when, in fact, everybody is fragile. Disease and death is just part of our lives, and we live in a society that doesn't accept it, that thinks that men can heal everything and is very powerful. And all I can say is that I got through it with Larry. I would not be here without him. That's the first thing, because I was in so much fear. Doctors, despite the recommendations, I didn't have the doctors that I needed. And the doctors that I had would tell me every time I went, if you don't do this chemo, if you don't do this, you're going to die, you're going to die, you're going to die. And every time I would get it thrown at my face over and over. And then in the end, I just fired the doctor. I was like, that's it. You're working for me. I'm paying you. You're a service. And Larry really, even once the treatment was done, he felt that the work wasn't done yet, that I wasn't at a place where I could move forward by myself. And he worked with me for another 6 months. Most of it, a lot of it pro bono, because I was trying to do as much work as I could, but I had also lost my job. He worked with me until he felt I was in a place where I was good and I could handle it by myself. And that was two years ago. I still check in with him, and I love having a session, but who doesn't, right? It's one of those fantastic things in life, and I feel so grateful that we can connect. My experience is that Larry can bring you to this place of healing where that we all have, but for some reason we have lost, or we don't have the ability to get back to that blueprint where there's healing for everybody. And no matter the hysteria, the fear, or what you're going through, Larry can bring you back to that place. I don't know how he does it. I have no idea. But I know, and if you've experienced a session with him, you know that he can bring you to that place that I call like being on a cloud, that place of well-being where there's no fear, no pain, there's nothing. And I think that's a bit the place where we are before kind of incarnation, before becoming humans, in the place probably maybe where we go after, but that place of well-being. And to me, that's how I experienced it. Really, truly amazing. I wish more people could work with him. I did also I still practice something called Jinsen Jitsu. I just try to work, on my energy, meditation, those kind of things, like, we all need to do. And at the very beginning, that was before I met Larry, I had worked with a French doctor who also tries to find the conflict that causes the disease. So that's what I did. Basically, I worked with Larry. And I knew, because I had worked with this French doctor before, which kind of stress had triggered the disease. So that's what I did. And so far, so good. Life is good. And I wish you all to have this wonderful experience that I've had. I don't look at life the way I used to do. And I'm doing this great land and wildlife conservation project, which Larry has also supported me. And yeah, that's all I can say. If you have any questions about anything, please, I'm here.
Would you give us your background, please?
Oh, yeah, sure. Benicia, you can go through. My background, I used to be a ballet dancer with the Royal Ballet. That was in a previous life, about 30 years ago.
That was in Paris, right?
Beg your pardon?
It was in Paris?
I danced in France. I did choreography in Paris, but the Royal Ballet is the Royal Ballet. I'm Belgian, is the Belgian Royal Ballet. That's okay. Where I used to dance. And I still teach ballet. Yes. But most of my work now is conservation. I'm working at acquiring a almost 3,500 acre wildlife sanctuary, basically. So I'm doing a lot of fundraising and learning so many things, really satisfying, and I love it. I don't think I would be doing any of this if it wasn't for Larry allowing me to breathe and to focus and to be aligned and moving forward. I think, staying in the joy, in a joyful vibration, singing, dancing, keeping all those things part of your life, that's what I've done, and with his support.
Go ahead, don't let me interrupt you.
Oh, what else can I say? What the hardest moment,
You had asked about questions from anyone.
Yes, please ask any questions you have. So I had breast cancer. It was it was stage 1, but it was called triple negative. So it's non-hormone dependent. It was considered quite lethal. They said that 25% dies from it, but who knows? We all die from something. But they said usually within 2 to 3 years, it's back there if the treatment has not worked. I did a little bit of what the doctors asked me to do. I did the lumpectomy and radiation, but mostly I worked with Larry. That was really Larry who got me through. Yeah. And I don't spend one day that I don't think about you, Larry.
Yes, I think we're ready for Marie, huh?
Okay, I've unmuted myself.
All right.
Okay, very good. Well, that was a wonderful testimony. She is so loving. You could feel the love coming from her.
Thank you.
I'm a talker, so I will try to summarize and be, as concise as possible. But I even had to write notes. But I've had 3 unique healing experiences with Larry. And I don't know if you recall the first one, Larry. It was back in the fall of 2016. I had my first session with you. I had sought you out. Yeah, it wasn't necessarily Yes, it wasn't for, I was guided to speak to you. I don't even know. I felt like I was being pressured by the external. Something was pushing me, guiding me, that I needed to speak to you. And I remember during the session, in fact, I intentionally set my chair here, and there's the window, if you all can see it behind me, and that's where our first session took place. And you were scanning my body and really couldn't find anything because I was just, I was okay. But what had happened was you took me into a deep meditation. And in that deep meditation, I was able to, from my higher aspect, view myself on the soil, in the earth, on black soil. It was very soft soil. I was about 3 years old. And I was laying there. You were talking, Larry. You were still guiding me through the deep meditation. I could hear you, but I was also watching and observing myself. And in the front of me appeared a flower, one single flower, white petals with a yellow center. And my conscious awareness was, oh, how wonderful of the universe to gift me this flower. I was so grateful. The next thing I know, I peered back. So my awareness was peering back like I was in like a camera would in a movie. And I saw this feminine, divine, mauve being, and she was standing off to my left. And I was giving her the flower. And then it zoomed into my eyes, and my eyes had light shooting out of them. And I never had experienced anything like that before. And I tried, my ego then came in, and it wanted to see, or that aspect of me who was curious wanted to see the face of this divine mauve being. She was formless, but she was a feminine being. But I wasn't really permitted to see who she was, like her face, her facial features. And then that was the end of that experience. However, what it did was it was a catalyst then for the next spiritual experience, which then happened in January, where
you sent me a picture of that,
yes,
didn't you?
It's
and there was all this bright light behind you in the doorway. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Because it was an amazing picture. We still have that somewhere.
Yes. Yeah. What happened was in January, it was a bleak gray morning. And I was given a quartz necklace, and I put the necklace on, and I thought, oh, I'll send a picture to my friend. I mean, I don't do selfies, I'm not that kind of person. And I didn't know that behind me, there was this divine, feminine, bright light, this form this light being, is what is often referred to her as. And I had taken a couple of the pictures, and there was a time lapse of about 17 to 18 minutes. And this being shifted her position. She actually lowered her head. Yes, and I actually have those photos. I mean, how beautiful, what a gift from God, truly, right? So I believe that the experience with you in the fall acted as a catalyst because it was at the same window. Now, this window is where I pray at. This window is pivotal to my healing practice. And that's what happened. It propelled me to then open up my healing practice. Okay. But with all that said, even though I'm a healer and people have attested that miracles have happened with me, nothing could prepare me for what would happen in March of 2020, when both my adult daughter, Crystal, and my adult son, Paul, were both tested positive for COVID. Crystal did fine. She was sick. But Paul, unknowingly, he's kind of what they call a dude, right? He walked around thinking he had the man flu. And the doctor had told him he was pre-diabetic, but he never accepted that. Okay. So he's walking around. Now he is exposed to my daughter, but it didn't click yet. He ended up being admitted to the hospital March 29th. And when he went in via the emergency room, the following day, he was placed in the ICU. He had double pneumonia. He also had that, what's it called? The Dr. Bill, you'll know, the acid ketoacidosis from being a diabetic. So and that condition in and of itself is fatal, can be very fatal. So a double pneumonia, he had the acid ketoacidosis from the diabetes. And then, of course, he then tested positive for COVID. So what they did immediately, their protocol at that time, was to place him on a ventilator. So he immediately went onto the ventilator. Now, Larry, our first appointment, he was admitted March the 29th, okay? And then our first appointment was Thursday, April the 2nd. That morning when I woke up in a fetal position, and I was sobbing so heavily because I was given the awareness that my son might die that morning. And it was so unbearable for me. However, I said to Paul, my beloved son, Paul, I said, Paul, whatever you want to do, if you want to exit your body, you go ahead, because you're in so much discomfort right now. Mommy understands. You need to do what you want to do. Okay. So I had come to terms with the fact that he might die. That's when then he was transferred to, they told me that he was going to be life flighted to another hospital that was more equipped to handle his condition. They ended up transporting him via an ambulance. I don't know why they didn't do the life flight, probably secondary to the virus, contaminants in the air, etc. Anyway, he gets to the other hospital. I'm basically told by the physician that he's not. He tells me, and he had no idea what he was dealing with, because that was, Paul was the first case. Paul was the first COVID case in our area. My daughter was the first COVID person. She tested positive, the first one in our county. I was basically told he was going to die. That's when I woke up and I was just beside myself in grief. So Larry, our appointment was 4:00 on Thursday. Immediately, Larry, just the sound of your voice, you were able to just like your first guest, I'm sorry, I'm not good with names. You were able to take me to a higher level of consciousness where I was able to exit out of fear. So I totally exited out of the fear of losing my son, even though I could even tell by the sound of your voice. I mean, it was imperative. He was dying. You and I both knew that. My husband knew that. My whole family knew that. He was dying. But I was able to exit out of fear. So I rose above that energy field of fear and was able to, and I don't want to say hope, but I can't even describe it and articulate it in our English language. But there was a feeling that you were in charge, Larry. Okay. It was almost like the divine energy that enters into your being, okay, was like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I was reassured by the Creator that on some level that Paul was going to be okay. And do you remember, Larry, I had seen that Paul was in a tunnel, remember? And I told you that there was that little light at the end of the tunnel. And then you and I used that to gauge his progress. And the next morning I woke up and I heard Paul as clear as day, Mom, I don't like being in this cylinder. But okay, so Larry, Thursday, 1 hour appointment. Then the following day, we had 3 sessions, 11 o'clock, 1:30, and 5 o'clock. We continued to have like 3 sessions. Sometimes they would last primarily around 30 minutes each. And each time you were able to give me imperative information. Do you remember when you said, oh, there's something going on with a woman? He needs to know that this woman is okay. And we concluded right away he was worried about my daughter, Crystal. And you said then, when I told you that, you were like, yes, that's it. Tell the nurse that she needs to communicate to Paul. Paul, don't worry, Crystal is okay. Because he had gone into the hospital knowing Crystal was sick, right? Immediately told the nurse. She told me that that day, she was able to go in and she told Paul, Crystal is okay, Paul. You don't have nothing to worry about. She's getting better. And when you know it, Larry, that's when Paul started to improve. And you knew it. You said it was imperative that he know that she was okay. So our first session was Thursday, April the 2nd at 4 o'clock. We went through all of that. Remember, they inserted that tube, and it was you were working on the angle because it was causing him some inflammation because it was inserted incorrectly. Yeah, and we were able to work. You were able to work on that, and then you got that in position. So let's see. We go through the whole week. Then that Sunday, they call me and they said, Paul's improving. And I said, what? I was in shock. They said, Paul's improving. He attempted to exhale independently. That's when then the next step was to take him off the ventilator. That following Thursday, April the 9th. Now, I met with you April the 2nd. April the 9th, I was picking my son up from the hospital. They discharged him. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. He went home. You know, of course, we had to follow this crazy insanity protocol, right, that they had set up, that in hindsight, as a mother, I kind of could kick myself, but I did the best I could, right? They sent in a nurse, and she said that when she pulled his name up at the front desk, she was looking at his name. It was at the first hospital. She was sent from the first hospital. She said, oh, I have my first COVID case. It's a young man. He's 39 years old. And the nurses all gathered around her and said, really, we had a COVID case in here, but there's no way that he made it. And she said, yeah, his name's Paul. And they said, no, there's no way that he made it. He was, Larry, you know as well as I do, he was like 99.98%. Hi, kitty cat. Anyway, she couldn't believe it. The staff there couldn't believe it. PT came in to evaluate him. They were in disbelief. He was healthier than most people. OT came in. He didn't qualify for OT. Speech came in. He didn't qualify for speech. He didn't qualify for anything. We thought he was going to be on an oxygen tank. Nothing. When he went to his first doctor appointment, the entire staff at the physician's office came out and they're clapping. They were applauding him like he's a celebrity. They couldn't believe he didn't die. And guess what, Larry? He's totally off of insulin. Now he's on metformin, and the doctor just disclosed to him, chances are in a couple months, he'll be off that too. He's never been healthier. All the little things they saw in his eyes during the eye exam after his, discharge from the hospital, they saw like little triangles in there, which was interesting. They're all gone. He has better than 20/20 vision. They can't believe it. They can't believe it. He's a walking miracle. He really is a walking miracle. And everybody I tell, they're kind of dumbfounded. And I always make sure I say, you know what? I worked with Larry Porter, a profound healer, Larry. You are a profound healer, and you are as humble as a profound healer as you are. You're just the polarity of that would be then the humbleness, because you're so powerful, but yet you are exquisitely humble. It's beyond even our comprehension with the egoic mind, what you do. But I'm grateful for what it is that you do. I'm absolutely grateful to you. And I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for you, my son would not be here. I know that the medical staff, I do give them credit for everything that they attempted, but to be honest with you, they befuddled a lot of it. They were scratching their heads. They had no idea what they were dealing with. So I'm blessed. I'm blessed to even know you. So that's okay. So my first experience, the second experience, the profound, miraculous healing of my son. And then what happened, Larry? A couple months after that, I came down with COVID. I called you. It was all in my head. It was terrible. And you were able to clear it all out of my head. I think we only needed like 3 or 4 sessions for that. You removed all of that. And because I'm a healer, you were able to use our lingo, right? You said, Marie, you need to exit out of the frequency of the virus. And I'm like, son of a, because I was so sick, I completely forgot about vibration and frequency. And when you said that, that was the most empowering words. And I thought, yes, there's no way I'm going to let this get me. And I just commanded myself to get better. But it took a while. And then you would follow up with me, which I, of course, appreciated. But if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have gotten through that as quickly as I did, because I was pretty sick.
As you know, as everyone knows, I do nothing.
Right. It is the divine.
One of my old mentors used to just do that.
Yes. Well, that's what's so blessing. That's the blessing. And it's interesting because when I was propelled to speak with you initially, there was this higher purpose. I was meant to have a relationship with you. It was it's kind of like the universe set it all up. And I accept that. And I'm just very grateful to have participated in it. and to listen to my guidance. And then if anybody else sees this video, if they're even guided to get to this video and feel aligned to it, that's not by any accident. It's because they were guided to. So I'm just grateful to you, Larry. I absolutely love you, Larry. I love you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes. You're welcome.
You've helped reward my life.
Oh.
Anyone have questions for Marie or anything? But anything else with Marie, for Marie? I want to make an interesting statement. After Marie's situation with her son, I've had almost no COVID clients whatsoever. And we put that on the website. It's been advertised. Now I get clients for heart conditions, lung cancer, everything else, but it's funny that I'm not getting many COVID patients when it's so prevalent out there. So I don't know. I want to relax here a minute. That was so marvelous, Marie. Thank you. I can't live up to that. All I can do is point upward. But I want to introduce a little more, and I think all of you know him. One of my mentors, Dr. Bill here.
Larry's mentor. Hi. No, it's actually the opposite. What he's talking about.
Dr. Bill has I'm going to give him another term. He has an uncommon mind and spirit. He is one of our great geniuses in the world today, and he's developed quite a few supplements. And he originally was a biochemist, I believe, and then he's been an intern for 2 major hospitals. He saved my life at least once, literally.
Yeah, you don't know about the other times. I kept that quiet.
Yeah. So, but very important. He's finishing a book, and I think this is going to be a milestone in many areas. And it's a book on energy healing. And this is not just a nice book about energies and things. This is written by an ultimately qualified doctor who has also had much training in energy healers by some great people.
Yeah, that would be, I mean, if any of you want to look at it, it's still in editing stages, but it's really about conscious energy healing. I've learned a great deal from participating in multiple healings with my patients, some healings with Larry even. I've seen some things that really are a little bit astonishing, and maybe break some of the molds of standard understanding of energy healing and consciousness. So I'm sharing that with people now.
Ironically, we've just been joined by another doctor, Dr. Amelia, who's in Chicago. Can you hear me, Amelia?
She's muted.
Oh.
I hear you.
Okay, good. I'm so glad you're here. And we've got 1 or 2 other testimonies we want to talk to. Hi. Never seen you in person. Great to see you. And Sherry is formerly director of the Wellness Center in Evergreen and knows about every modality in healing that we have never even heard of. So, and does it. She's marvelous.
I become a pointer. Go to him, go to her, go here.
Yes.
May I just I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but I must exit the meeting. But I just wanted to say goodbye to everybody. Unfortunately, my iPad is down to 9%. And I do have another obligation, but it's an honor. And I love you, Larry. Thank you so much for inviting me. And goodbye to all. And it was so nice to see you, Dr. Bill. So I just wanted to say goodbye.
Okay, thank you so much.
Said it was
Okay.
extraordinary. Really appreciated it. Really.
Oh, thank you.
Recorded, because what you experienced was totally amazing, and to have the words to share that is really helpful to all of us. So, wow.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
And really the star of everything is Kelly. And Kelly's with us. Kelly, would you like to talk to us?
Yeah, well, I think probably most of the people here sort of know my story, but I want to give two short stories about Bill and Larry, which I find really interesting. So the other night, I'm on a chemo regimen where it's starting to cause a lot of nausea, and I haven't had that up until this point. So I never want to bother Larry. So we were just talking as friends the other night, and I started off the conversation, not feeling so great. And then literally halfway through our conversation, I stopped and I said, you know what? That nausea's gone. He goes, that's funny how that happens, isn't it? And I realized that little crazy guy, he was working on me the whole time, but unbeknownst to me. He was so sweet.
He's a sneaky healer.
He's a sneaky healer. That's right. And you don't know, I am so beyond grateful. That's just one of a million stories. And then Dr. Bill, like a year or so ago, I was going to the store in the rain with flip-flops on, schlepping through the parking lot, and I slipped and rolled my ankle. I mean, like I could not walk on that ankle. Went to the emergency room and they were like, yep, you sprained your ankle, came home. And I was calling Dr. Bill because we were trying to collaborate on a TV show with Bill and Larry and I. And I was telling him, look, I can't get much work done tonight. I hurt my ankle. And he said, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. And we finished the conversation. I hung up, and I kid you not, it was on a Saturday. Literally 2 hours later, I could not get on my feet at all. 2 hours later, I thought, I've got to go to the ladies' room. So I sort of scooted out of bed and tried to put pressure on my ankle, and I could completely walk. I mean, there was nothing wrong with my ankle anymore. So I said to my husband, I walked out, I had my video camera going. I said, look at this. He goes, what are you doing walking? I said, I talked to Dr. Bill, and now all of a sudden I'm walking. So I called Bill and I said, did you fix my ankle? And he said, I hope you don't mind. I said, holy cow. Literally the boot, the cast thing they gave me, I didn't need anything. So I'm here to tell you that these two have saved my life countless times. I mean, but Larry.
Tell us your situation, what you've had to deal with the past few years.
Okay, so Natasha knows Yana. Yana was a very precious friend of mine who was this amazing psychic medium. And we were working on this television show that we were going to incorporate Larry and Bill into. And we were on Skype. She was living in London, or not London, UK, but a little city. I can't remember the name. So we were Skyping, and she had been trying to tell me that for the past few months that I needed to go to the doctor. Something was wrong with my kidney. And I said, no, Yana, I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with my kidney. And finally, in June of 2019, she looked at the camera and with tears rolling down her face said, Kelly, there is something wrong with you. You have to go to the doctor. And if you don't go in the next 3 months, it's going to be too late. And I thought, holy cow. I just had a PAP, transvaginal ultrasound, every test you can imagine came back fine. And at this point, I was talking to Larry and Bill, and I introduced them to Yana, and she instantly connected to those two. I mean, she kept saying, whatever you do, don't ever lose contact with those. You guys are going to all be very good friends for the rest of your life. Make sure you stay in contact with them. So I since nothing technically was wrong with me, I had to make up a fib. And I told my doctor I was bleeding, and I was not. Well, that got me right in. So when I went into the doctor, they did a pap and they said, well, let's just do a biopsy. They happened to do a biopsy, and 2 weeks later called, and there were cancer cells. They fast tracked me to get a CT scan, which showed 3 tumors, one on my colon, one in my abdomen, and one on my kidney. That's what Yana was seeing, the kidney. And so they scheduled me for a radical hysterectomy. And the entire time, Bill and Larry were working with me. And I have to backtrack, by the way. When I talked to Yana and she said, you need to get to the doctor, I said, what's wrong with me? Is it my lung? What's going on? And she said, I don't know. Talk to Larry. So I talked to Larry, and Larry said, you need to go have a pelvic exam. So Larry literally saved my life too, because it would have taken 3 months just to find out what was wrong. So I had the surgery, and it was okay, but there was some cancer cells in a lymph node in my abdomen, so they needed to start chemo. So I did chemo. Bill and Larry got me through that the first time. Then I went through a little bit of radiation, and I was in remission for 9 months. And then they tried to put me on a drug called Keytruda. That caused pneumonitis, which once again, Larry and Bill, good Lord, got me through that. And so now here I am on a chemo regimen that has worked well. My latest PET scan came back basically clear. So my doctor said, let's just do one more round of this particular chemo regimen, and that should put you into remission. But literally, I talk to Larry every day, but between Larry and Bill, when he's available, those two, I will just tell you, the power of the healing is amazing. And if you ask them, how do you do it? People want to know, how do you do it? They cannot explain it, but who cares? Because it works, right? That's the thing. Who cares how they do it? It works. So the only sadness, and I will say, I feel a little protective of Larry and Bill, because it's like, I kind of want to put them in a little genie bottle, put the cap on, not tell the whole world, because I don't want them to become overwhelmed. But then I realize there's so many people that need them, which is why I want to produce a healing show about them, right? Not only do they have this great camaraderie, but they're so they're just amazing. And I know that the TV show will go up like gangbusters because they're amazing. I mean, yeah, they literally have saved my life. Literally. Yeah. So the way I'm going to repay them is making them superstars.
Going to make us superstars.
Oh,
I want to make you guys superstars. That's right.
Thank you.
People are going to follow you on the street.
Kelly's one of my best friends, has become that.
Yep.
Great, great treasure. We've got at least 2 or 3 more involved, probably, depending on what they want to say. People, unless one of you is in a hurry, let me bring on, Veronique, yes. You're
I'm
muted.
so sorry. I'm so sorry. I need to leave.
I know, you said you did, and
Yes.
yeah,
We have
and we'll see more later. Thank you.
yes. Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
I want you to meet who I think is one of the most special souls on the planet. Well, it's all of you, yes, but in particular, grape juice. Yes, Carolyn.
Am I muted?
Carolyn may be she's our newest recruit here. And I have come to admire her so greatly. She does have a little bit of a parallel music background with classical music. But Carolyn, would you like to talk about what's happened with you? Right.
Yeah, she's gonna have to. She's gonna have to.
I'm just on the phone now, so you can't see me. It just defaults to the phone.
We'll use our imagination.
Okay. I have to actually turn the computer off because of the delay.
No, we're happy to hear you. So go right ahead.
Okay, cool. Okay, sorry about that. So let's see. I don't know. I guess where to begin. I started working. Wait, hold on a second. Okay, thank you very much. Sorry, still technical difficulties. It's fine now. So I just started working with Larry in April or May of this year, and I have a weird condition that most doctors don't recognize. So it's been very hard to get through that. It's I had brain injury when I was born, and I just lived with it my whole life. But no one did any tests because outside of just the initial when I was born, because they just thought I was making it up every time I go to report symptoms, and just tell me I was depressed and I just needed to take Prozac or whatever. I had weird symptoms like just tired a lot, and fatigue. My head would hurt, and I couldn't see right sometimes. And I still have it all as well, but it kind of vacillates. And anyway, so flash forward to a couple years ago, I finally I begged a doctor to give me an MRI because thank God, I don't know why they finally believed me. And then they did see that I had hydrocephalus from brain injury. So so I've just been dealing with that for the last couple of years, and it's just weird because they don't have any. The thing is now that they know they know it's a thing, but they don't have any treatment for it really, except for brain surgery if I'm gonna have a major catastrophe. But I don't want to have brain surgery, so I am doing alternatives. And so I met Larry over the phone, and I started working with him, also Dr. Bill too, in April or May because I wasn't feeling well. And again, when I don't feel well, I don't have any help with that. I can't take any medications. I've taken supplements. I've taken all that natural stuff, but it hurts my stomach. And then it just hurts my digestion. So I have a lot of digestive problems also. So I can't even really do, even if there were natural problems. I'm sorry, natural solutions for the problem. So Larry's and Dr. Bell have been no short than miraculous, honestly, for me, because like I said, I really don't know what I would do. I'm bedbound sometimes, and I can't see right. I stopped driving, and I don't really like driving anyway, but it just gives me an excuse not to drive. It's really amazing too because they are so perceptive with things that they're able to be refined with my case versus, just going in and doing a typical meditation, oh, we do this with everyone, or, okay, this is what I usually do. I appreciate it because they really have the perception of understanding that everybody is a different situation, and they could see somehow that I wasn't, necessarily the common case. And most standard protocols in medicine or others don't really work with me anyway. So I was so appreciative of that. And I could feel it after the first session for sure. And I couldn't really feel my legs that much. That was another thing. I mean, I'm able to walk, but I have limited weird feelings sometimes, not as much feeling as I could on my waist down. I guess it's a spinal cord issue. And Dr. Bill specifically, I remember that one of the sessions he did with me to get the flow moving again. And then I'm able to have more circulation just from the chi flow. However they even do it, I don't even care because I know that it works, and I could feel it over the phone. And I was so grateful for that. I wasn't in a wheelchair, although people are in wheelchairs with hydrocephalus. So I didn't want to get to that level. There's no way I'm getting to that level. I don't see myself at that level. So I'm just so that was one big improvement. I was able to have less headaches. I had vertigo. Now I haven't had vertigo. That's really scary. So I'm so thankful. Yeah, they just work a lot on the cerebral spinal fluid flow and keeping everything moving. And yeah, and I don't even talk to doctors about this or anything because I know they're just gonna poo-poo me as usual. And I'm so thankful. They're both, Dr. Bill and Larry, have been a lifeline for me absolutely over the last 3 months. I'm so thankful I found them and called them.
Carolyn, go ahead and
Yeah.
talk to your doctor about this. And if they give you any
Okay.
trouble, tell them you'll put a spell on them.
Yeah, they already think I'm hypochondriac / into witchcraft. So
Yeah.
it's like
Let 'em know.
whatever they just, who cares? Actually, the funny thing, I don't even have a doctor. Like, that's how bad it is. Like, I didn't have health insurance for a while, all of my adult life, actually, until 2015. So I was with this just by myself, being like, oh, I'm a hypochondriac for probably 15 years or something. Or I just have this thing, depression. And I didn't buy that BS. I really honestly didn't. I was like, I mean, not that I disagree that I think depression's a real thing, of course, but on the biological level, like when the pills weren't really helping me, and I'm like, yeah, it's more complicated than just like pop a pill. So yeah, I mean, so anyway, I've dropped out of the whole
You were really
medical
treated
thing. But
as a hypochondriac, weren't you?
What'd you say?
You were really treated as a hypochondriac, and the things we saw were real with you. Your digestive,
Yes.
the body temperature issues, on and on.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. In the head, a lot of stuff in the head that needed to be moved down to the rest of the body because, you can't live really like that with a lot of imbalanced energy or whatever it is. So I mean, if I ever do get a doctor and I integrate back into the medical establishment, I will tell them, yeah, I will refer them. But yeah, that's I'm so thankful too, because again, years ago I've had this, and I don't even know if, like, I didn't have the internet for a while, and all those years without the internet and without it's not like you can just type in alternative health healer like 10 years ago. I at least I didn't have access to it, so I'm so thankful that finally nowadays it's getting a little more accessible, because that's how I found you, just by myself.
Great. I'm glad you did. Dr. Case, I invited you because I thought you might find it interesting. You've become a good friend.
It is
Definitely.
Yes.
It's very interesting.
Yes. Thank you for being here. Is there anything you'd like to say in particular?
In my experience, my own experience?
Yes, we're talking with Dr. Case now, Carolyn.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yes, Larry,
you,
I have something, it's so minor, but I'll be happy to share it. For me, it was major that my shoulder was frozen. So I've been referring patients to you who are very sick. And so I was hesitant to ask you for help on my shoulder. And when I finally decided to, it was because I did everything else that I could think of. I did acupuncture, I did chiropractic, I did physical therapy, exercise, and I just a few extra degrees back and worked with you maybe. And I wanted 100%. So that's what we did. And it's 100%. Now maybe I'd say it's 99%. Every once in a while it's a little something, but it's markedly different now. And I think some of the work that we've done on my heart, I did call Larry one night. Something strange was going on with my heart, and I was wondering, like, how bad is it? And Larry, you said, call the ambulance and tell them to come fast. I happened to be in Connecticut and dropping off my daughter at school, and visiting her for Easter. And in fact, I was having a really severe arrhythmia and tachycardia. And I was taken to the hospital, and it was important that I get there right then. So I think that's interesting, right? That tuning in and having a sense of a level of severity. It's very interesting that you could do that from such a distance. So this isn't my first experience with working with people who are healers, but it's always fascinating. And I can't imagine. I mean, if I had my way, I would include for every patient that this is just part of the consultation process. You know, that just to get more of the background, the more, whatever is the background energetics of the dysfunction, and address it, you know, and that to me seems like it's more multidimensional in the deepest sense. Like we might look at the chemistry, nutrition, the structure of the body, the, you know, the tendencies of the mind, the rhythms and cycles of the hormones and lifestyle organizations, and those all make sense, and so does this. So that's my take on it. I wish more people that I sent to you would work with you. Some people, they're so, even when they get very sick, which is strange, they're still hesitant. And Dr. Bill, I've heard much about you, so it's nice to be in the same space with you.
Yeah.
And thank you, Larry, so much for everything.
I've heard of you as well. It's wonderful that you are working with Larry. You know, because he, I think that, you know, somewhere around the next 20, 30 years, he'll hit his stride.
Maybe in 30 years, I think my hair will gray. Maybe. I'm older than any of you.
Yes.
But yes, thank you so much. And I have to tell you, Dr. Case, you know people through their people. And she is the ultimate giver. She's the giver of health and giver of life. And this lady goes to the four corners to heal her people. And one of the miracle workers, one of the ultimates I know. Yes, thank you. Well, we have two more. One is from Russia and one is from West Virginia. I don't know. They're both so special and very, very different in their stories, I guess. Who wants to go first? Natalia or Allison? She's pointing to Natalia or Natasha. Yes. And
I apologize. I'm kind of shy, especially I know my English is not perfect and I'm a perfectionist kind of. So, Kelly already told that, mentioned Yana here. She was my dearest friend and I miss you dearly. And because of Yana, I know Larry too. So, and Dr. Bill. She referred me to Dr. Larry, and she told me that he was so wonderful working and helping her. She had lots of problems. It's even amazing how one person can have so many problems, health problems. And Dr. Bill and Larry helped her to stay around much longer than it was expected, and helping her a lot with pain and other things. But about me, I was really kind of unbeliever because I was with doctors for a long, long time. And it's the same story. It's no really diagnosis with anything, just like normal to my age, but I had so much pain, and it's not just one place, it's all over and moving, sometimes better, sometimes really bad, that I could only walk on crutches. And so just like, oh, you have maybe bad, severe depression. I took depression pills, didn't help. So mainly I was on the pain medicine because nothing really they could find. Other than rheumatoid arthritis. Sorry, I can't say it correctly. So, but I was taking medicine for that too, and I had really bad reactions with my gallbladder, and I stopped taking this. And when I was taking all this medicine, nothing really helped. Pain was still there. It just was on a different level, and I couldn't drive sometimes because it was kind of druggy. When I start talking to Larry on the phone, first I noticed it was peacefulness I felt. Not like when I was like always, oh, wherever I will have another pain or something. I just completely forgot that I'm having pain, and his voice helped me to calm and concentrate. I don't even know on what, but I felt peaceful. And he was trying to see what's going on with me. And I tried to listen where he goes, but of course I didn't feel anything. And that night when we were talking, first time I slept maybe straight a few hours because I didn't sleep for many years, more than maybe 20, 30 minutes. And then it took hours again to fall asleep. So I was always tired. And so Larry asked Dr. Beal to help, and they both tried to work on me. I didn't understand really what they were talking to each other, but I think they figured out something. And Larry even told that maybe I had some brain function that was turned on when my baby was born, and I couldn't sleep well because I felt everything around. And I think he did fix something there so I could have sleep better. And I didn't have very many sessions really because I felt kind of like my dysfunctions was not as severe as my friend's Yana's, and I didn't feel comfortable to ask Larry work more on me, but I'm trying to heal myself now because he gave me a hope, and he really showed me that I have something in me too that can help me healing, especially after certain sessions. I had so much energy that I couldn't stay home, and I go for a walk, and for an hour or so, I didn't feel any pain. I was ready to fly. So it was amazing. And since then, I just trying to help myself. I'm not completely out of pain. I have some, but not as severe as before. And thanks to Yana first, and of course, Larry and Dr. Bill for all helps. I really appreciate that. Even today, I was tired. I was come home after walk, a long walk, 5 kilometers, maybe more, right before the meeting. And when I start seeing these faces, I felt energy, and now I'm just completely fine. I'm not tired anymore. So it's amazing. And I'm sorry for saying that, but no one doctor, I mean, an original doctor, how they ever helped me in my life as you guys did. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know if you have questions, but I know you help Yana a lot too.
We have to have more sessions with you. We think you're an empath too.
Yeah, I'm getting a very distinct feeling, and it may be actually a little bit of communication that part of your, and I was actually told this, that part of what you're feeling is not your own pain, but the pain of others. And that you can kind of deal with that on a certain level. There's another thing going on, but I think that you may want to eyeball that a little bit and see if you can maybe get a little bit further down the road in terms of your health. And because I really do think you're an empath. And I don't know, I think there's a couple people here who know Yana fairly well. And Yana's doing quite well as far as I know. I haven't talked to her recently, but she's okay. And I think it's very important for people to know that she transitioned quite well and is very happy. She is still willing to work. She wants to work from the other side. That's what she told me. She was very clear about that.
Thank you for saying that.
Maybe we can do more next time.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, we have two more. Thank you, Natasha, so much, and I hope to get back with you soon. We have two more, again, very important people. And we have Allison and we have Stephanie. And I will ask again, who would like to go next? We've got about 20 minutes left. And after this is over, I'm going to stand in a corner and cry. This is so moving. I'm putting the emotions off for right now. And thank you for all of this. Very good.
Yeah, I'll just speak for a few minutes. I'm glad to see everyone. I'm sorry I had so much trouble getting on today, but I was glad to listen to the last speaker. I've been working with Larry for quite a while now, and I think he's given me courage and energy at a time when I've been battling ovarian cancer. And I've had ups and downs during this period, and now is not the most energetic period, but I still am able to function very well, and I credit that to him and the help that I've gotten, and this, I think, the sense of calm that I always feel, and then the energy that follows it, where I'm able to walk around, which kind of amazes the doctors that I'm working with, who don't consider that I have much time to go. But we'll see. I'm trying different things, and right for today, I do feel well, and I'm glad about that. And I'm able to write, and I'm able to walk, and I'm able to just do everything that needs to be done. And I'm looking into some other modalities as well. I've had a lot of chemotherapy, which I have mixed feelings about. It works and it doesn't work, but it knocked me out a lot. And Larry gave me a lot of strength during that time, physical and mental, to keep going, which I hope to continue to do. So I think I just want to extend my thanks and gratitude. And I don't know if I can recommend anything that I have, since I have ovarian cancer. I had a process recently called bland embolization. And that's something that, I don't know if anybody has that cancer. It seems to work very well for nodules in the liver. And just to extend my thanks and gratitude, to be here and to be listening with all of you. And I hope to be back again in a more timely manner at another session. So thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
The person who gave me the idea to do this Zoom video, I thought it would be great to have people, sort of a support group for everyone, talk about some of the things they've been through. And I know Stephanie certainly has, and I know others of you have really been through it, like Carolyn was dealing with it, I guess since birth in one way or another. So
Yeah.
I think this is really meaningful, and thank you, Stephanie, for the inspiration. The strongest person I know. Yes. You were at, or you still are with Sean Kettering some, aren't you?
With what? Pardon me?
With Kettering.
Not very much now,
Okay. And she's still looking for other modalities, I believe. Yeah, good. Okay. Well, Allison.
Yeah.
Is the youngest, oldest client I have.
Yeah.
At least right now.
Yes. Hello, everybody, and thanks for sharing your stories and your input. And it's like I'm always excited and fascinated by the mystery and the magic of life. It's incredible. And I'm so blessed that to have connected with Larry a number of years ago through Michael Smith, who works with empaths and teaches empath stuff, and then had a few sessions in there with Dr. Bill. I wish I'd had a few more. I mean, really. But I've had a long-term illness that started in 1988, and I worked with the health department of the state of Maryland, and they had an exhibit in the lobby, and it was about ticks and Lyme disease, and it was like, ooh, that's something. So I looked at that, and then the next week my arm's itching, and I looked down and I'm scratching it, and I've got a bullseye, Lyme bullseye. And that was the first case of Lyme that I had. And fortunately, working with the health department there, I was referred to the only doctor in Maryland who knew anything about Lyme at that time. And then he referred me to specialists in New York about Lyme. But I understand, when people talk about like not being believed about what's happening with you and what's going on, and doctors not understanding something or not realizing the impacts of something in your life. And I got new Lyme infections 7 years in a row. And the 8th one, my doctor said, move or die. And I got those in Maryland, north of Baltimore. And that's when I came to West Virginia. And I spent 8 years in bed, and mostly 22, 23 hours a day. A lot of physical pain, a lot of discomfort. And it was a journey. It was a healing journey, because I had a weird life before that where I was a government official. I wrote federal grants for the state of Maryland for developing community mental health programs for people that had severe mental health issues. And I was the top grant writer in the United States the last 3 years I worked. with the score. And it's funny because tomorrow I'm being interviewed by Who's Who in America. Can you believe that one? So it's really weird. I'm trying to get my head set for that. Why would they be talking to me? But it's interesting, and it's kind of, it was a journey because I had an instantaneous healing back in the 70s of a torn cartilage. And that took me into energy healing work, which I did for 20 years on evenings and weekends. And then during the daytime, I was a government official. So it went to my feet in two very different worlds. And it was a journey, though, because the Lyme disease was devastating. It affected most areas of my body, affected my heart. In fact, one of the first sessions that I had with Larry, my blood pressure was really up. And he worked with me, and I mean, it was at a dangerous level. And he worked with me, and I had this image that I was getting this package of arteries and stuff that just popped into my chest, and my blood pressure went down to 120/60 and stayed there for a long time. So that was a wonderful thing. And then I've had different heart issues, now we're working with nervous system issues that I think were related. There were things that would happen because of my physical vulnerability, concussion, and different things that we've worked with over the years. And so it's like I'm to a point now of I'm going to be 75 next Tuesday. So that's kind of exciting. And I'm working, my intention now with our work is to continue to raise the bar for my health. And it's like to bring in a new body. Why not? You know, and so it's like working with Larry, it's wonderful because the sessions take me very deep. I don't know about you, but I love it when he goes deep and deeper. You're smiling over that. Don't stop doing that, Larry. That's really wonderful. He goes deep and deeper. And it was like, I'm going like, oh yeah, it's a great thing. But it takes, what I found is that it takes, when I go into that deeper level, whatever's happening in my body, it seems like it gives it that place where it can deconstruct, where you're like this and you're tense. You know, fear and tension's a real bitch for the body. It just forces the life force out of us. And so the more that we can relax, and it's like one of my experiences was that Larry holds the channel or the energy for us to just relax and go deeper. And as we go deeper and deeper and let all that other stuff go, then it's like it lets our body let go of things that are recorded there that we don't need, that take the life force out of us because they tighten everything up. And that relaxation then just helps it go to another level. So I'm getting to another level with my health. And I'm planning the next phase of my life. It's really interesting. I'm learning about timelines and changing timelines and choosing one. I've been on one where I was learning from illness. And I had a grand 2 teachers here with these 2 guys in terms of learning about illness and what they are and letting them go. And now it's like time to really raise the bar on my health, be in touch and download a new blueprint for my life. My blueprint had a lot of illness in it, and I learned a lot from illness. But I'm tired of that. I want to do something different now. And so that's kind of where I'm at. So we're coming along. I'm very grateful for Larry, for his work has meant the world to me. It's meant my life at different times when there were different crises with my heart and with heartbeat and with the way the nervous system was impacted by the Lyme disease. And it's a very can be a very, very serious, debilitating illness. And I know how many times people said to me, well, you don't look sick. It was like, well, I feel really sick, but it's kind of like moving past all that. And so I'm grateful, Larry, for your help, and Bill. Those couple of sessions we had, I sure wish we'd had a couple more.
We'll have to have more sessions, yeah. With you.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So thank you so much. And you may have noticed my kitty here earlier. And generally they join in when there's a session with Larry because they want to get in on the good energy. And so they'll get up on me and they'll crowd in on the session. I don't know if you've had that happen if you have kitties around you. So they know. I mean, they you can't fool them with the quality and the vibrancy and the power of different kinds of energies. So they want in on it. So anyway, thanks.
Yeah, my cat does that too.
Yeah, I think I saw your cat earlier. Was your cat?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then I saw Bill. I saw your cat too. Did your cat was in earlier?
Yeah, they were here.
Yeah, sure. Heck.
Fortunately, the llamas did not come in.
Uh-huh. I was hoping we would meet them today. Come on, guys. No, I'm very, very grateful.
Softer in the world than llama lips.
Llama lip.
I thought you might want to know that.
Okay. I'm advised. I'm advised. If I'm wise, I'll take that in, right?
That's for the next medical journal.
Yeah.
Okay, llama lip. That's a good title for a book, But anyway, gratitude. Thank you. Wouldn't be here without you. And I'm, like I said, getting ready to start the next 20-year cycle of my life. So gotta get things rolling. So thanks. Oh, there's another kitty. Yeah.
Yeah, this is mine.
Oh, there he is.
Oh my goodness, what a beauty.
Buddy. Look how big he is. He's huge.
Going like, Mama, what are you doing?
He is, yes. Well, Dr. Case, anything you'd like to say?
Many thanks. I hope this continues to grow and become more routine.
This might be a nice function, huh? It sure inspired me. Yes.
Me too.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we're all done. And call me tonight if you have snow. Any of you.
Snow.
Snow, yes.
All right.
He doesn't want to hear from us.
All right. Well, have a wonderful evening. So
Thank
glad
you.
you're here. And we'll see you next time.
Okay.
Right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 We get out of here.